Oh yeah, everybody. It's that time once again. We are coming to you live from the RMJ studios. We have got Bobby Nelson in the house from Detroit Model Citizens. This is Bar Stars Detroit. Cheers, my friends.
8 o'clock on Friday night, I'm loading up my car. Driving to the show, man, I forgot my guitar. Mama always told me that I'd never go far. Well, screw that, I'm a bar star.
All right, everybody, how's it going? I hope everyone had a great month. This is the show for March for Detroit Bar Stars. We've got our buddy Bobby Nelson in the house from Detroit Model Citizens, as I said in the intro, but I am repeating it because he deserves to be announced twice.
Thanks, man.
Yes. We want to say thank you all. We want to say thank you all for listening to the last show with Shane McGuire, formerly from Voodoo Karma. Now getting ready to move to Nashville and do this stuff that we do full time. He's a crazy, crazy man, but he was an excellent guest.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fun times with him. Very interesting stories. If you didn't listen, which some of you have not, I know some of you have not, because we had like 150 listens in the first episode, and we've had 80 in the second episode. So
what's up with that?
Yeah, man.
Some of you have not listened to episode 2, and it shows.
Gotta listen.
That's all I'm saying. But Shane has a blog. I apologize, too. I'm suffering from vocal fry today. I think Bobby is, too. We both sang last night.
Just a little bit.
different places, screaming our balls off and drinking too much and drying out the vocal cords. Yep. So the remedy to that is drinking again today.
Again, more.
Sunday fun day. Shane's blog is Shane, Shayne McGuire, McGuire. That's all one word, .wordpress.com. If you want to keep up with him, be sure to check it out because he's been updating it a lot. I've read some of it already, and it's very good. He's a very good writer. That's something I think he could have gone into or could go into if music doesn't work out, but I'm confident that it will for him. We also still have the social media pages up.
Yeah, we do.
Shout out Honey Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you guys go and check our social media. Social media? So
you're dry. You haven't touched a drop.
Social media.
Social media. Yeah. Social media. At our Facebook. Bar Stars Detroit with Ricky and Danny. Our Twitter at Bar Stars DET, or you can hit us up at our email at barstarsdet@yahoo.com if you have any questions or concerns or complaints saying you guys suck.
No one would ever say that.
You suck!
Right. It's just some kind of feedback.
And then also, check us out. Go to YouTube, and you can catch our past episodes there.
What's the name of the YouTube channel?
It is Bar Stars Detroit. And awesome. Please subscribe, like, and share. Please.
You can check us out on Anchor FM, too, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Or, check us out on Anchor FM. It's a podcast just like anywhere else where you can get your podcast. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. So please go check it out. Support. We really appreciate it.
We're trying to get Spotify, but they are being a little wishy-washy with us. I think they're just waiting for more episodes to be dropped. So we're working on that.
Yeah.
Working on that. We're going to make it happen eventually.
I just subscribed to your your YouTube channel there.
YouTube.
I was thinking you were getting out your phone to take a picture of the hole in my crotch.
No, well, I will if you want. But,
there it is, wide open.
Wide open
Listen,
spaces.
Because I do a lot of I do a lot of things on YouTube when I'm like trying to learn or listen or watch, and I'm like, this is just easier way for me to go on and just watch you guys' show. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I find YouTube as well. Some podcasters say it's maybe not the greatest place to have your podcast for whatever reason, because YouTube doesn't like it. YouTube wants videos. They don't want podcasts. They'll let you have it up. But I do find that majority of people listen to it there.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I think once it gets on Spotify and it hasn't dropped on iTunes, I don't think yet, has it? Or the Apple app or whatever. I don't think it's dropped in my Apple app.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I think just Apple and Spotify we're waiting on.
Yeah.
Everything else is though.
Once it does, it'll be great. But anyway, so we've got Bobby here. Bobby from Detroit Model Citizens.
What's up, everybody?
As you can tell, there's chemistry between the three of us because we've known each other a long time.
Absolutely.
So we've
played on stage together.
There's love in the air.
Yes. It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday fun day. I'm 3 beers in and a shot of Honey Jack. Pint sitting next to me. But
I'd rather not say how much I've been drinking. Certain people might hear this. You can clip this off later, right?
Well, cut that out, man. Cut it out. Okay. Note.
Certain people might be like, "You've been drinking over there."
This is a straight edge podcast.
No.
We're all straight edge when we gig, too. But anyway, I figured we'd get, I guess, right down to business and just kind of, I know a lot about Bobby, so I'm going to try to ask these questions in a way that sounds like I don't know what the answers are. And I tried my best to actually ask questions that I don't know the answers to. So we'll start with a very basic question here. I'm throwing you a softball.
Thank you.
It is, when did you start singing seriously? Now, obviously, you know, people can say, well, I started singing at the age of 3 when I could talk, or I started singing in the shower when I was 8. However, you hit a point where you go, hey, I think maybe I can do this. I think maybe there's something there. What age was that, and what was it?
Well, that's a good question there, Bob.
You're Bob. I'm Danny. Damn it.
I mean, Danny. Well, you know, I started out, you know, as a little tyke, just kind of watching my dad, you know, sing around the house and stuff. And, you know, I didn't know that I had any kind of talent until I was like maybe, I don't know, 12 or 13. You know, and that around that time was when, you know, Green Day was getting big, and, you know, the punk rock era and everything. So, you know, I formed a little garage band with a couple of buddies of mine, and we sucked. Like, we sucked. Guitar player couldn't play the right notes. Drummer couldn't play in time. It's just, you know, I couldn't sing a lick at first. And then, you know, eventually, by the time I was like 14, I was like starting to kind of hone it in a little bit, where I was like, oh, okay, I can actually sing in key, you know, and on some stuff. So, but I think, you know, but even then, though, we really wasn't that serious. I guess I would say that, you know, the first time I actually got serious with it was the first time I joined Room 13, and that was when I was probably about, I was in my mid-20s. I was like 25, I think.
Really?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, because that was the first, like, you know, that was the first band I ever joined that actually played in a circuit, you know, in the bars, and, you know, and actually
Wasn't Buster's your first gig with them? Buster's Lounge?
No. Actually, my first gig with Room 13 was actually at the Military Street Cafe in Port Huron.
Oh, okay.
And it was funny too, because I didn't have a whole lot of time to learn all the songs, so I learned like maybe 65% of the tunes, and then Brandon Gillihan and Steve Lane kind of carried me through the rest of it, and they kind of, you know, they kind of sang a bunch of tunes in my stead. And it was funny too, because I didn't want to step off stage and just kind of look like, you know, oh, hey, where's the singer going for 6 songs? You know, so I brought my guitar that I had, and I just kind of plugged a chord into it, and it wasn't connected to anything. And I just jumped around on stage and acted like I was playing chords.
Hey, my dad used to say that, man.
Yeah.
Remember back in the day
with
if you ain't doing nothing,
Just
who cares?
fake
Just
it.
fake it.
Just fake
Just
it.
to make it even look cooler.
Absolutely. He would say sometimes where, 3 people would be singing. I'd be singing lead, and Ricky would be singing, and our bass player would be singing a backup.
Yeah.
And he would tell the guitar player, like, just pretend you're singing something too. It just looks good.
Right. Just mouth the words.
No one's gonna know. Everyone's
Right.
gonna think, "Oh my God, these guys are singing 4-part harmony." And he's just a wise man.
Yeah.
Learned all the tricks from him.
Yes, and they're good tricks to know. I mean,
Absolutely,
so-
absolutely. Having him in our corner was a blessing. Now okay, so because I believe, didn't you have a band with Steve Lane?
I did.
Before that,
yeah.
did you guys ever gig?
Yeah, we did actually.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe that wasn't completely accurate what I said previously. It was, I joined a band with Steve Lane, Randy Handling, and Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, I know all those chodes.
Yeah,
No, I'm
you do.
kidding. I
You
love
do.
those guys.
They're great guys. But we started a band, and that, like, I actually answered an ad on Craigslist that Steve Lane had posted looking for a singer. And at the time, those 3 were already jamming, and they were kind of writing originals and stuff like that. And they were trying out a bunch of dudes. And I remember walking into the house, went to Steve Lane's house, and they were kind of all set up in this little room in the back of the house. And they like tried out like 10 guys before me or whatever. And then when I came in and I sang, they wanted to just go through a couple of covers just to see, what my vocalities were like, And, after the show or after the practice, they were like, "Yeah, you want to join?" And you know how Steve Lane is; he's all serious, So,
Hey,
so do you
man.
want to join or? So
Hey there.
right. Yeah, there you go. Right.
We heard what you were doing. And yeah. I love Steve. He's seriously one of my best friends.
He's a
we
great
hang
guy,
out
man.
to this day.
Great musician. Glad to know him. Fucking awesome
Absolutely.
dude. Can I swear?
Oh,
yeah.
fuck yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
I just called your bandmates chodes, dude. Doesn't get worse than that.
So no, to answer your question, yes, I started it with it was called Mindset with those guys, and we gigged out once at the Golden Dawn.
The Golden Dong?
The Golden Dawn. It's changed to something else now, but it's kind of on the way. It's like past Port Huron, but between Port Huron and say like Lexington.
Okay.
It's just a little bar, and yeah, man, we went in there and we did one night of a bunch of tunes that and I had no clue what I was doing. So I wouldn't really say at that time I took it that seriously.
You were just getting your feet wet.
I was. I had never stepped into the realm before of that kind of a bar star era.
Right? Exactly.
So yeah, but that was awesome though. I mean, it kind of, like you said, got my feet wet. And I was able to kind of get a feel for how things kind of go in that scene. But yeah, it wasn't really serious until I joined with Room 13, and they kind of helped me hone my craft.
Right.
Directed me in the right directions as to how I should have been as a front man, and because I was wet behind the ears and I had no clue what to do.
I remember, because in a weird way, I mean, you're older than me, and but like, I'm not saying much. I'm
Thanks,
just saying,
man.
No, there was a point to that, but in a weird way, it's like, and I don't mean this in a way. I'm how do I say this? I'm not saying this in a way
Fucking
like
old man.
No. What I'm trying to say, and I guess I'll just say
You old
it.
fucking
and
fart.
People can interpret it however they want, but I guess it's like I feel like I watched my baby boy grow. Okay, and I don't mean that in a way that you're beneath me or anything. If anything, as I say when I get drunk and have you come on stage, I'm like, I looked up to this guy and still do.
You don't have to, man.
Like, bro, like when we started the Dividing Line in 07 and we were hitting the circuit, and that that was when you guys were hot as shit, dude, with Room 13, and I always remember us going in to Augie's and seeing you guys, and this was like before we really got to know you guys yet.
Yeah.
And we just like, wow,
I remember a night playing at Augie's and you guys came there and I forget who, but somebody was like, hey, there's some guys from the Dividing Line are here. And I was like, the first time I heard, about the Dividing Line, I was
it's like
who are these guys? So I was real curious. And then when I got to meet you guys, and we kind of got to know each other, and it was kind of, that was it from there. It was just kind of, kind of became friends. So
you were always, and that was something that you have down. Let me rewind for a second though,
Surely.
because I'll go into what I was going to say about being personable and your ability to personally network. And sometimes when you say network, people take that as like a shallow thing, but it's not. Like, you are just a very personable guy. And going back, I guess the first time I ever saw you guys was an accident. I was not even coming to see you.
I didn't mean to see these fucks.
I was like, wait a minute. And here's the crazy thing. Like, I walked into DB Cooper's, and we thought that
DB Poopers?
we actually thought Seventh Son was playing there.
Oh, okay.
Because I had not seen Room 13. I was 21. The only band I had seen was The Dream, because that's Ricky's dad's band.
Yeah.
And one of the guys in The Dream played in Seventh Son. So I was like, well, I'll go see his band.
Yeah.
And then I walk in, and I see this light show that took, Sean Kiefler 14 and a half hours to set up.
It did too.
All those park cans.
He had keys to the bar.
Yeah.
I bet he had keys to the bars because he'd get
probably
in there for them. Because those were those Parcan incandescent.
Yeah, man.
It just took his dedication. I admire that.
It's like, do you guys mind if I come in here at like 4 a.m?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
the previous night and set my shit up.
Yeah, they walk in, dude. You're like, you've been here since last night.
Yeah, right. Well, I got done at like 4 in the afternoon, so I'm gonna go home, take a nap, and I'll be back up here for the show.
He's got it down now. He's got it.
He does. Yeah.
It takes him 3 or 4 hours.
Well,
He's
thank God
very,
for
very
LED
efficient.
shit.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
LED. But I came in and I saw the Room 13 things, and I go, my mom used to see this band. And I'm like, all right, I'll sit down. And I sat down and watched you guys. And, of course, it was awesome. And you got off stage, and right there, like probably within 15 minutes, you were at my table talking to me.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. And you spent the packed-ass bar. You spent, like, 30 minutes there, and I wasn't sure. Maybe it's just because you and I get along.
Absolutely,
like we connect, we get each other. So maybe that's why. But I'm sitting there like, wow, this dude's like hanging out over here. This packed bar, he's hanging out with me. I must be kind of cool. But
well, you are.
I like to think I grew into a very cool man.
But the baby grew up.
But you you watched your baby boy
I
grow.
watched my baby boy grow.
You're not cool if you're not cool like me.
But you've always been good at that though. Going out, there's a lot of guys that have trouble mingling with the crowd or
Absolutely.
going out and talking. Like, you've always been good at that, and I think that's why you always do well, because you have a lot of people that they totally admire your talent. But also, you're personable. You're not a dick about it.
Well,
You're not up there like, yeah, I know I'm sweet. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go hide.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that singer. I don't want to be that guy.
No.
Never wanted to be a cocky, fucking musician who said, like, oh, I'm fucking cool because I can fucking hit this note and you can't. I mean, it's like, but I mean, mostly though, I just like people and I like being social. So I mean, when,
it's natural. You're not thinking about it. You're not sitting there going, I must talk to people. You're just like, hey, that person looks like they're interested. I'm going to go sit down with them and talk.
Right. No, during breaks, I don't purposely go out and be like, I have to go sit down and start talking to people to be so. I don't have to force myself to be social. I just, I'll just walk through a bar and I see one person, we make eye contact, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I'll fucking crack a joke or whatever, and we all laugh. But yeah, it's been easy to like sit and as long as people were cool like you guys, it was like easy to sit and talk to you guys, and get to know you,
right? It's genuine. It definitely is, and I think that's something a lot of people don't even realize is the break is crucial.
It is crucial.
People don't realize how
Yeah.
much work, how productive a band can be during their breaks. They just think, oh, you're up there entertaining, but it's like, yeah, entertaining's cool, but what I'm doing when I'm off the stage is what is going to help this place be this full next time I come through.
Absolutely.
And
I had somebody come up to me last night and like show me a napkin. And I was like, oh, I got a napkin coming in my microphone. You know, comes up and shows me a napkin, and it says, "Do Freshman" by the Verve Pipe. And I'm like, really?
did you do it?
No, no. But it's funny though, because some people will come up and like request a song, and you're like, well, I've never seen you before. It's like, so I told the girl, I was like, if you keep coming back to our shows, I was like, I said, then we'll learn it.
Exactly.
So it's like a little trade off there.
Yeah, you give an investment to me of your time on the weekends, and I'll invest in you by sitting down and learning this song. Mm-hmm. It's funny how people think that, like, you're just a jukebox.
Yeah.
Like, people come up and be like, can you play this? And I'm like, no, sorry, we never learned. I always feel bad because I want to accommodate people, but they're like, I know you can do it. And I'm like, I could probably do it, but not today.
Right. We could try, but it's going to sound like crap. We're going to mess it all up. It's,
and it's scary
to
do
know
that.
it all as a whole,
And you're going to please that one person, and then, Mr. Bar Owner from 10 miles away comes in looking for bands, and he sees you doing that. And he goes, these guys suck.
Right. They walk out.
Or everybody else in the place.
Absolutely.
Being like, what the hell?
Yeah, what is that? What did I just listen to?
I thought this band was good, but fuck, not anymore.
Right.
But that one person is so happy that you played their shitty song.
Yeah. I had this lady literally come up and and we could play the song, but there's something, and I want to put out a PSA here to the public, if half the people listen to this that listen to the last one, there'll only be like 35. But I want to put this out there to everybody listening, like, a set list is kind of an art, and there's a certain way in which you want to present a song to people. Like it's like a 1-2 punch or whatever. I can't just throw it to you. So someone will come up and be like, do you know this song? Yeah, we do. And then you play something else and they go, put their arms up in the air. They got the boo-boo face on.
Why didn't you do it?
And I had this woman ask for the Roadhouse Blues a while back, and I love the Roadhouse Blues for whatever reason.
You've done it a million times, I'm sure.
I have done it 100 million times, but I'm the asshole that keeps
drove it into the ground.
I'm the asshole that keeps calling it. But I'm like, okay, yeah, we know it. And I'm looking at the list. It's like 4 songs away. So I'm like,
oh, yeah. So it's already in the list.
We'll get this shit in. We'll get there.
Right.
Every song in between.
Oh, really?
She's coming up.
When are you going to play my song?
She's mouthing, where's my song? Where's my song?
Oh, my God.
Arms are getting bigger.
Die Hard, man.
And I'm just like, just hold on. And then finally, I moved it up. I compromised myself for her. I moved it up. She was so happy. But at that point, I know this may not make sense to everybody, but it didn't have the impact it would have had where we had it planned.
Right.
So it is what it is.
Sometimes you might have to call an audible.
Yes.
Yes.
But quick, the story Ricky was talking about, we were playing that song at DB. Everything happened at DB Cooper's.
I know, right?
A lot of things happened at DB Cooper's.
We were at DB Cooper's.
A lot of those will stay there.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, in the DL at DB Cooper's, just another night. And
Is this when I was in the band?
No.
Oh, okay.
This was this is the original.
Okay,
lineup.
Gotcha.
And we started playing the tune, and then some dude came walking up to the stage in front of all of them, and
he had a suit coat on.
Yeah.
And he
suit coat?
Yes. And he just goes, or a sports coat, I should say, a sports jacket. And he just opened up his freaking jacket, like in those videos you'd watch in school when they're telling you about the bad touch.
Yeah.
When the dude's like, hey, kid.
look at this.
Oh, God.
But instead of that, he's got 12 harps.
What?
6 on each side.
Are you serious?
And he looks
This
at me.
is a true story.
Yes.
True story.
He looks at me and he's
Dude.
like,
Yeah.
And he points at him, and I'm like, there's no way a guy is walking around with 12 harmonicas that doesn't know what he's doing. Get your ass up here.
Yeah.
So he comes
He's
up.
just like, what key you in? You know, and then they yell out,
Wow.
Danny tells him, and then he just fucking rips it, dude.
That's fucking great.
Oh, it was awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't even want to play the guitar solo because he smoked
You wanted him
me.
to do it on the.
Then at the end,
Yeah,
he told me his name, and I'm not going to say his name because he's a local guy, and I don't.
He's still around.
He's still around, but he
Local harmonica guy. We'll
he
just call
is.
him.
But he was like, yeah, he's
call
like,
him
I
that.
played on. He's like, I played on D12's Purple Pills.
Yep.
Really?
And I looked it up, and his name, yes, it's him. So,
Oh, wow.
so I guess you could look up, do the research yourselves.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
say his name on this podcast. You can do the research,
No,
but he was very nice, very
Yeah,
cool guy,
real.
very talented. There's nothing ill about it, but I just
That's fucking.
It was
awesome.
it was just random as hell.
That's cool.
Yeah,
man.
it was just
He just opens up.
just,
his
yeah,
jacket
yeah,
and
like
got 12 harmonicas.
like, oh my god, what's gonna happen here? Like, we're
So-
about to get flashed.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord. It's terrible. There's a disgusting pervert flashing people.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down.
I can't calm down. You calm down. Oh, my God.
Did he have to have like a special tailored custom?
he did.
Yeah.
like
yeah,
jacket
yeah.
made.
Yes, he
to-
did.
to
Dude, they were
harness
just-
all of those.
Yes.
all
Yeah,
of
they
those
were just like all
harmonicas?
hanging there.
because you
Like on hooks or do you have little pockets?
yeah, no, it had little slits for the
Okay,
harmonicas
yeah.
to sit in, but you could see the top and bottom, so it's like a little
Yeah.
Oh, so it was, like military style, like you know, they were like perfectly fit in there, so they weren't gonna fall out.
No, it was. That's how you know he's a pro. Because I've seen guys
yeah,
with the
that's
belts.
That's pro.
He had him in the jacket, and
Dude, he should have had it lined up around his belt like bullets. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like a bullet belt. You know.
yes,
The harmonicas.
Or be like John Popper with the vest and shit.
but
After the show, I'm going to ask you what his name is because I want to look this. dude
yeah,
up.
yeah, I will.
I'm curious. to know.
I'll let you know for
It
sure.
was wild, man. It was just weird. It
That
was
is
just
a
like,
very
what?
that is
Wow,
a very
it's
cool
awesome.
story.
Yeah.
Right.
That goes to show that you never know who's in the crowd. You
Yeah.
just never do, and so that's why you shouldn't get drunk like I did last night when you're gigging. I was good till the third set, and but
Yeah, I was
we
pretty
had
good.
sit-ins.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we did. But I guess so. So we could probably spend an entire podcast on just the
We could
start.
talk about anything.
But what I
hours.
wanted to do, because the theme of this was going to be starting from scratch. So I guess fast forward. We'll fast forward through Room 13, which is a part of the story because there you were in this very well established band before you got there.
Yeah, and I didn't know how established they were
It-
until I was actually in it.
Right.
You know.
That's wild. I guess that's better though because the pressure maybe wasn't there as strong
It
until
wasn't-
later.
It wasn't there at first, but yeah, I realized how talented everybody was in the band, and it was like I realized I was for like a minute there, I was the weakest link. Everybody in the band was like, trying to direct me down this path to be like, hey man, we need you to do this as a front man. We need you to, we already know you can sing. They're like, that's cool, but we need you to move around. We need you to entertain people. We need you to, just kind of go up a little bit in status here on the pole.
You get the old Room 13 shoulder bump if
I
you
would.
ain't moving.
Oh yeah. You know what the
Oh,
shoulder
yeah.
bump's all about.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was like the first few shows that I did with them. I was just kind of focusing on what I was doing and wasn't really moving around a lot, and projecting all that energy. And yeah, man, you can get a shoulder bump come across the side of the stage like boom, and you fucking be like, what the fuck? You look over and you get mad for a second. But then you're like, oh, he's just trying to get me to, kind of get the
going.
energy going,
Yeah, 'cause
pump it up.
That shoulder bump was never like he laid it in.
Yeah,
he would lay it in.
Yeah, he didn't hold back on that shoulder bump.
If you're not gonna move, I'll move you.
Exactly.
And it worked. And
It did.
I guess that's the thing. Like me seeing you the first time, you were good because I think you just have natural talent in you, and it's one of those things. I always tell people I was never naturally talented. I had to work at this, and some people would say I can tell you're not naturally talented, and that is what it's. I consider myself
You're very talented.
Well, I appreciate that, especially that's a strong endorsement from you. But I think that I always tell people I'm an entertainer first. I'm a musician second.
You're very entertaining. You have a way of captivating a crowd, and you're very funny. So it's like you got that funny personality that people really love to grab onto. So it's that's awesome. That's a good thing to have when you're trying to entertain people. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'll be like standing there, like I'll be singing, and like it'll be in between songs, and I feel like I got to say something, and it's like I can't think quickly to where I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, what do I say? Like, oh yeah, let me remind them to tip their bartenders and waitresses. Let me remind them to go see my page. Let me,
Right.
Well, like when you just pop off a joke.
Yeah, he's witty, man.
Witty, exactly. And you give a toast and shit, and I'm like, what would Danny do? I was like, should I give a toast? And I'm like, well, I can't do Danny's same toast. I'm like,
Sure can.
I'm like, that's Danny's, So.
Fuck it. I rip shit off of other people. You can rip stuff off of me. It is
I don't
what
like
it is.
ripping shit off of people.
But no, I appreciate that. You almost made me misty-eyed a little bit by saying that, but I appreciate that. Most times I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about to the very next day.
Can I?
Oh, yeah, don't ask.
All right.
Just that's the Honey Jack. Bobby pretended to drink it. He didn't actually take a sip,
What Honey
right?
Jack?
Cinnamon.
What are you talking about? Yeah, cut that out too. No. I'm kidding.
I gotta have one now, but
It won't be coming out for another month, right? So
yeah. Well, it's gonna come out at the beginning of next month, so about a week or two.
week or so. Okay.
Yeah, and
2
we're
weeks.
we'll fudge that. Well, she knows you're here.
I just won't let her listen to the podcast. She
there
won't
you
know.
go. There you go. Oh, she's so
I'll
supportive.
be like, they
She
deleted it.
She will listen to every minute of it because she's
that's
so supportive.
why you came home on a Sunday.
Yep. Sunday night. Been drinking Honey Jack
Yeah,
with Danny Corey and Ricky Miles Jr.
you're all frisky and stuff all on me.
But watching you like that, so that first time you were good because of the natural talent, the natural ability, good looking dude, no homo. Not that there's a problem if you are a homo.
No homo here, but
You're a good looking
nothing against the
dude.
homo.
You have the natural talent. You have something that is. You just standing there, which is something I admire because there's people. I move around, I do things, I have to say things. You are capable of just holding the mic in the mic stand, and it's captivating.
Owning it.
You own it, and you had some of that then, but over that time, not only that, like your vocal range, I think grew like 6 whole steps, which is a lot. 6 doesn't sound like a lot to many people, but 6 whole steps with the half steps in between, that's significant.
I don't know if it went 6 whole steps, but
And maybe
he's
I just
exaggerating a little bit, people.
maybe I just didn't hear the notes because I remember there were times where you were singing stuff that you needed to be transposed, that maybe wasn't supposed to, and then at times you were like 2-3 years down the line, you're doing songs where you're like, well, it takes too long to tune down, so we'll just do them in standard. You're singing these songs.
Confidence, dude.
Confidence,
confidence
that
helps.
could have built
Absolutely.
up big time.
strengthening that muscle.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that too. And it was very, at first, like when I started doing this on a normal basis, I remember singing so hard through my throat that like, and we were playing every single weekend, every Friday and Saturday night. So it was like I had a week to recover from that by the time we had to, get up for the next show. And man, dude, it was so difficult because I would, you okay there, buddy? He's just like, keep going. And he just gets up and runs out. What you got there, dude?
He had a rough
We ran
night.
out of liquor. Man.
What do you got there, man? Some fucking absinthe or something?
I don't even know. I got it on a camping trip.
The shit's glowing. It's glowing.
Oh my god.
When it's time to party, we will party hard.
Oh my god. So yeah. So at first, it was very difficult because
Oh,
Oh no, sorry, hold on. That was just my alarm.
Got to take your birth control.
No, that is the time.
It's a great song.
So no, I would sing so hard through my throat that I would blow myself out at the end of every single weekend. And like a lot of times I'd do Friday night, and I didn't even know if I would be able to do Saturday night because I was so rough, and we partied so hard. And by experience from being in Room 13 that
I would be scared if I had to sing today. I only sang last night. I didn't sing Friday. But if I had to sing today, I would be worried, because I went hard last night.
And me too. I like tonight. I can talk more than I feel like I normally can. Like I said, that whole pedal thing was really helping and kind of conserving my voice a little bit.
Right.
But yeah. So, but over the years though, like those guys, I had to go get lessons. I wasn't able to just fucking.
I think anybody
teach myself how to widen a range or how to hit certain notes. I mean, yeah, it's practice, but eventually at one point it was like I was having a hard time hitting the notes and what's that Alice in Chains tune? That everybody does.
Man in the Box.
Man in the Box. Yeah. Man in my crotch. So I had a hard time hitting that note for a while, and but as the weeks went on of doing every weekend and every weekend and every weekend of that, and just blowing myself out, it did strengthen my muscles in my throat a lot, and eventually I was able to hit those notes with more ease. But at the same time, then at that point, that's when I realized that I was having a hard time with my breathing. I didn't know how to breathe right and how to use my diaphragm. Mm-hmm. And then, a couple of guys in the band were like, hey, would you consider maybe going and, getting some voice lessons? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not going to be one of these guys who's like, no, man, I can fucking do it on my own. And, I'm that good. And it's like, no, maybe I do need voice lessons. Maybe that will help me. Just ignore that. So I did. I went and I got voice lessons. I took voice lessons for a little while, and the funny thing about that was that I was taking voice lessons at Hubert Breeze for a bit, and it was funny because I brought in a recorder with me just so I could record our sessions, so that I could review everything at home and use it as homework, and I went to like two or three sessions with the guy. And the first session, we basically spent the whole time, working on a piano. He's like, let me see how high your range is and how low your range is and where you are. So he's hitting notes, and I'm singing along with him, and he's going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until I get to a point where I can't sing any higher with my chest. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, well here you are. Now you got to sing with your falsetto.
Yeah,
exactly. So he's like, so we're gonna go a little higher and see how you do with your falsetto. And he kind of explained how to use your falsetto, and I was like, okay, cool. So we're going a little higher, and I totally forget what the range was that he gave me, but he said it was, at the time he was like, that's pretty good. He's like, you gotta, you're in there. He's like, if you just hone your breathing, and that's what he told me was mainly your breathing is what I think is affecting you the most. He's like, I think if you work out your breathing a little better, you'll get way better. You got to time your breathing, learn when to inhale, take a breath to really hit those notes that you're looking to hit. But after that though, he just I noticed he was just kind of bringing me in. He like taught me everything that I needed to know and just kept trying to bring me in to get my money. so it was a good thing I brought my recorder. Because after that, I was like, well, fuck you, dude. I'm like, I got all this shit. I got everything I need, all the tools that I need to know. I was like, so I'm not going to keep paying you $30 for a fucking hour.
Sure.
Because it got to a point where he was just bringing me in. He was like, well, let's just have you sing a song. like, dude, I could do this shit at home, bro.
Right. Well, that goes along with the natural talent. And even though you had to get lessons, quote unquote, but I think a person who doesn't have talent who doesn't have an ear, who can't match pitches, they could take 100 voice lessons and never be good. Whereas you just needed a couple techniques to really put yourself to the next level.
It helped a lot.
Well, it did help because you've got a lot of power. If there's anything I notice when I watch you sing, I'm like, man, like your breath control, your vocal control, your pitch control, all of that, it's pretty impressive. So
thank you, man.
That's a good thing. But so you hit that level, you became, I mean, you went from feeling like the weakest link to being a pivotal,
I felt like I
necessary part of that band.
I felt like I brought myself up to the same level. I didn't think I like surpassed.
Oh, everybody,
everybody
had their place for sure.
Yeah,
and that was part
and
of why
had their
that
job.
lineup worked so well, because the chemistry was just at the time perfect. But I mean, at the same time, you were the face of that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you're better or worse. Just you were the front man.
And I agree with that.
You were the guy in the front of the pictures at the beach grill. You know, so when we walked by, when we'd go see you guys there and pretend we had money, and we'd walk by the big poster in the lobby, Bobby Nelson's there.
It cost you half your wallet just to walk into the place.
It did.
Got all these yachts pulling up and
Right.
shit.
And it cost you half your money when you went to go take a piss because the guy in the bathroom was offering towels and fucking, fresh deodorant and like, cologne.
I know. I'm like, I'm from Hazel Park.
And then
What the fuck is this?
Right. He's got his hand out like, give me your 20.
And I gave him my 20, and I looked at my girlfriend at the
was
time.
like,
I was
well,
like, we gotta go.
Right. I got about $10. That's gonna buy us a beer.
So you went from that, and then you ended up having to leave that band because of the things that a lot of us deal with, children not being with your child's mother, so you're having to work things out. Your weekends at that time are vital, and you're spending them in the bar, and things change, and you decided that
scheduling.
I need a lighter schedule, and at the time they couldn't handle that or didn't want to deal with that because they were being booked every weekend. So you ended up leaving that, and then you joined Dividing Line for a little bit, which it's kind of, we swapped bands.
We did, actually. That's crazy.
Fuck you guys.
You went to room 13. And so
it wasn't immediately after, though. Like,
No.
they had replaced you and had a couple different things. And I think,
well, you had Matt Dalton.
I think it was 2 years after you
who
left.
replaced me, I believe, was Matt Dalton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they had Ian in there.
Ian was in there, and he's living down south. He's living in the mountains like a husky.
Yeah, I haven't seen or heard anything from that guy. He just dropped off the planet.
He
Nice
did.
guy. Him and I got drunk a couple times together and had
I got
great
some stories
times.
about that guy, and I hope he fucking hears this, because you know what? I love that fucking guy. He was so like funny, and he had a great personality.
He was a very free spirit, man. He wanted to have fun.
Can we
He
talk
made
about
everything
him for a
fun.
second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like, I just I remember times where he was on stage with us, and he like, we'd be jamming a tune and we'd be fucking all out, balls out, just fucking rocking out, and then next thing you know, I'd be like sitting there listening, and I'm like, how come I only hear one guitar? And I look over, and the motherfucker wouldn't even have his fucking, like, he'd have a cord sticking out of his guitar, but it wasn't plugged into his amp. So as the night went on, he got so drunk that he knew he couldn't play right. So he just unplugged himself and just jumped around on stage like a fucking madman, like wiggling his head back and forth, and just he was just going crazy, and like, people just thought he was still playing. No one knew that he was totally shut off.
He looked good up there, man.
He did.
He knew.
He did that once when he filled in with us
Did he?
at Ricky Miles Music Cafe.
Yeah.
For New Year's.
Really?
He filled in.
Wow.
He was so fucked up at the very, very end.
Because he would get so wasted.
And then Kyle, he like stepped on his cord or whatever, and it got
Yeah.
pulled out of his guitar, and he still just
he just kept going.
And Kyle's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're not even plugged in.
Yeah,
And
and
he just looked at his shit,
He was like, fuck it.
and he's just like, and then he just like took his guitar off, set it down, straight face,
Really?
and just walked off.
Really? Oh my God. That's Ian.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what just happened?
So Ian, if you're listening,
Bobby's onto your bullshit.
but you know what though? All
Funny,
forgotten,
oh,
man. We
great
love
guy.
you.
No, I liked Ian. I had a great time with
Everybody
him.
liked
Fun.
Ian. He was a fun guy to hang around.
And we weren't in the band. I think theoretically I replaced him. You know,
I think you did, yes,
So
yes.
So I mean, there was a little bit of time. It wasn't like I was your direct replacement. And then
No, you weren't.
you joined Dividing Line, and that band the name was established at least because we had been
Yeah.
doing it for a couple of years.
Right.
And so we had gigs booked, everything happening.
Yeah.
We had bars, and you joined that, and it was you and a couple other former members of Room 13 that joined to make that band keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Ricky on the drums, Kyle, who's now in, man, we just
Yeah,
swapped.
yeah. Now
It's
Kyle's
a big
in room
band
13.
orgy.
I know. We've been swapping wives all over the place. You know?
So
Steve Lane, Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah. We had Steve Lane and Matt LeBlanc. in the
those
Dividing
chodes
Line
again.
for a
We're talking
while,
about those
and-
chodes again.
Chode means a penis that is wider than it is long. Ugh, yikes. But it's also used as a synonym for taint or gooch. A great way to use it is just like to insult a really douchey looking guy. Like, look at that frat guy wearing 2 polo shirts. What a humongous chode.
And, those chodes. Them chodes.
No,
I love those guys.
me too. I just because I called them chodes earlier, I had to call them chodes
No,
again.
I hear you.
But so you did that for a while, and then that took a hiatus, and then it came back with a new lineup that I was a part of because I couldn't keep up with the schedule. What the fuck? Anyway, this is confusing.
We can go on and on
Wait,
and
it's
on.
almost there. It's almost there.
So
I gotta piss.
Oh man! So I'm getting to the point that
Can I go pee?
Pee-pee break.
yeah, you can go pee.
I may even have a cigarette. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cigarette, Jesus, guy.
So we're gonna take a
Not
break.
trying to hold up the gig. Or anything.
You're gonna hear a word from our non-sponsors, and we'll be right back. This podcast is not brought to you by Screw You Pal Tires. If you can find a better set of tires, screw you, pal. And we want to say thank you to our non-sponsor, Screw You Pal Tires, for that ad, that non-ad that they didn't pay for. And this podcast could potentially be broken into 2 because we're 45 minutes in and I have asked 2 questions that we're playing.
Yes, and I'm sorry. I was
don't-
probably rambling.
No,
on.
don't apologize, man. We're having fun. I don't care. Break this into 5 podcasts.
Oh, we can hang out all night.
I don't give a shit. So, moving through, I don't mean to skim through the Dividing Line thing, but then at that point, you kind of took a hiatus and then formed your own thing. And I guess the theme of this podcast was starting from scratch because that's essentially what you did.
Yes.
And now, I mean, you had a lineup that was former members of Room 13 that you were tight with. That kind of fizzled out, but you kept the thing rolling. And now you've got pretty much new people, new faces to the scene, at least new faces to me anyway.
Yeah.
I've met them all. They're all very nice, very good guys, very talented musicians, but you've basically had to start from the ground up with
Absolutely.
this.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it's succeeding. I mean, it seems to be catching traction. You guys are getting booked more and more. The crowds are growing. So that's a beautiful thing. But I guess, doing something like that, when putting something together, like, what do you look for when you're looking for members in this situation? What do you look for in a bandmate? Be it any, I mean, obviously you want them to be able to play the fucking instruments.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a given.
But outside of that, are there specific things you look for where you're like, this guy's a good fit, this guy would be a good fit here?
Absolutely. Yeah. It mainly boils down to chemistry. honestly, I like. I want to be able to hear a guy play his instrument, and then, you know, obviously if he can play that instrument, well, then it kind of boils down to, well, okay, do I have a connection with this guy?
Right.
You know, do I have a connection with this bassist or this, you know, this drummer or whatever? And, you know, yeah, absolutely, man. We want to hone that in first. You know, that's really important. I think a lot of bands might you know, break up and have problems because they don't see or don't have that connection, you know, with each other. So, you know, like the guys that I'm playing with now, like Josh Whiting and, you know, Steve Smithberger and, you know, and Phil Figlioli and Donnie Carnes, you know, they're, you know, it's kind of been you know, kind of been a trek, you know, you know, we've gone through some guys, you know, and just try to, you know, and jiggled some things around, you know, but some guys didn't work out. Some guys did. Some guys, you know, didn't like what we were doing and said, you know, we had a couple of guys that were, you know, that stepped in to play guitar or whatever. And they were like, you know what, this isn't the direction I was kind of hoping to go in. And they left mutually, you know, and that's totally fine. You know, totally respect them. Hopefully, you know, they'll, you know, good luck to them and everything. But, you know, as you know, for the DMC, you know, we've been really trying to, you know, keep guys in the band that get along, you know, get along really well, and they see eye to eye, and, you know, and I really think that the chemistry and the friendship should be first. That's like a big thing for me anyways. Like, I think that, you know, and just like we've had, you know, together, you know,
sure,
playing together, absolutely, you know, and, you know, so, you know, those guys, man, it's like, it's really important for a band to have that.
It's vital. It's more vital than anything else.
Absolutely.
You can have the best musicians in town,
sure,
but if you don't feed off of each other, it's almost like an old Christmas light strand.
Absolutely.
That one bulb's out, that strand is fucked.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I that's the way I've always seen it. You need that because the people can see. Even when you're having a night where there's 10 people in the bar, if you enjoy each other's company on stage, the people can see it. And those 10 people are going to be like, those guys are still fucking having fun because they love each other.
Whether we're not or not.
Well, then they start to have fun.
They do.
And then I find slow nights, they suck. Oh, my God. They suck the life out of you.
Playing the crickets is nothing you want to do.
I take it so personal, dude. When it's slow, like, I won't be cool with that until I have another gig.
Right. Your performance isn't going to be where you want it to be when you are playing to people that, like, or when you're not playing to anybody.
Right. Know? But you got to dig deep and pull it out, I think. And if you can,
you do have to dig deep.
If you can, those 10 people, at least 5 of them will appreciate it. And I think in those instances, if you still can dig deep enough and bring it, you're going to get some of those people to come back because they're going to appreciate that. Like, wow, these guys had no one to play to, but they still threw the fuck down.
That's true. That's
true.
And
that's a good thing. Now, obviously, assembling that, I agree 100%. Chemistry. I've been in situations where guys, they're looking for the best musician, and musicianship is huge, but man, if that guy doesn't fit,
you're right. If you're not feeling it with him,
he could
be the greatest musician in the world, but if he's got a bad attitude, or you're just not feeling the friendship, you guys don't see eye to eye on shit, then you really don't have what it takes to really have a good time with each other on stage,
right?
And actually perform in front of people,
right? I agree 100%. Now, taking that. That's the big thing you look for, and you've got that assembled now. Now, are you the one do you book the shows?
I book most of the shows.
Okay.
Not all of them, but I book most of them. So, we play at Sabby's, and, our bassist Josh handles that.
Okay. That's a cool little venue, too.
It is.
I'm giving them free publicity.
Yeah, let's give a shout-out to Sabby's, because Sabby's is a really fun bar to play at, man, and they take care of us, and that's great. And a lot of times, man, it's really hard to find venues that will take care of their bands. You know, I feel bad because some of the places that want to hire bands, they want to hire you for the least amount of money, and you know, they're not willing to kind of, you know, give you give you some incentive to really try. And what some of the venues don't understand is that, you know, all of us as musicians, we work our fucking asses off. You know what I mean? You know,
oh, yeah.
We work our asses off. We take time away from our families. We take time away from our jobs, you know, to rehearse and practice and memorize.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get together for rehearsals, and, you know, and then after all of that, you get together for a show. You got all kinds of setup going on, you know, you're lugging in all your equipment, you're setting it all up, you're trying to do sound checks and making it sound, you know, make sure that it's going to sound right for the people. And sometimes people don't understand that. Even the venues, like you got bar owners that will be like, hey, you ready to go on? You ready to go on? And you're like, hold on, give us a minute. And they're getting kind of testy because it's like, and you're like, well, do you want us to suck? Like, we don't want to suck. We want to make sure that we sound good for you. So you gotta, you know, be patient and just give us a couple minutes, you know. So
not all of them understand all that.
No, and they don't. And I wanted to mention that personally on this podcast because I would love for those venues to understand, you know, that you know, we put our heart and souls into this, and you know, you guys put your heart and souls into this, and just, you know, it's like, we understand, like, okay, we don't want to like rape you and try and take all your money and just come in and, you know, and just do our thing, you know, as musicians and as bands, you know, we want it to be mutual. We want the venues to make money, you know, and as long as, you know, the bands are doing good for those venues and bringing in money and bringing in people that are drinking, well then, you know, give us a little bit in return. You know, you got places like Crescent Lake Inn. You know, we play there often, and you know, when we play there, if they have a good night with us playing there, and they do good in their till, well, at the end of the night, they wipe our tabs, you know, little things like that. They mean a lot to the fucking guys in the band. You know?
It really does, because a guy like me will drink. I'll at least spend $20 to $25 in a night. You know,
Yeah,
and for
easy.
that to be wiped, where I can just walk home with my pay, and I still tip, and that's one thing. If your tab gets
Absolutely.
wiped, make
Still
sure
tip.
you tip.
You should.
But yeah, little things like that go a long way.
They do.
There are bars that get it, and I get sometimes, you know, they like with the on time thing, like they want you up at a certain time.
Oh, yeah.
Most bars seem to be understanding when things are going wrong, and it's like, hey, we're trying, but
Yeah, right. Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
they're not. You know, it always sucks when you're in a new place and that happens, because that's their first impression of you. Which is why I'm just a fan of, look, you get there early. You know, I was talking to a guy last night who was sitting there. I was there at 8 o'clock last night. He's like, why are you here so early? And I'm like, because typically what'll happen is we'll plug everything in and turn it on and test it, and then I'm just going to sit here and fuck off for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But if something is wrong, we have time to fix it.
There, and you can adjust.
Exactly.
You do what you need to do.
So, I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, just looking for, are there ever, because I mean, you guys are relatively, with this lineup especially, you're relatively new. You're starting to branch into new bars. Now, are there, and I'm not asking for names. I'm not asking you to shit on any place, but are there places where you sit there and go, you know, bands play there, but I don't think we're a good fit, or
yeah. There's a few actually, and no, I'm not gonna say any names out of respect. Like, I mean, but yeah, there are some bands that I feel like, or I mean, not bands. I'm sorry, venues that don't really, like, I can feel that they don't really understand, you know, how we're kind of expecting them to, you know, to kind of help us out in a minute, you know, like with the tab thing, or you know, they'll like even throw us a little extra dough, you know. It's like, as long as they do good. I understand if they have a really shitty night, you know.
Sure.
Well, fuck, man, I feel bad. And I'm like, well, I'm walking out with your $800, but you didn't do so well. You know, I don't want that. No, I don't think any band really wants that. I think everybody wants to, you know, because as a cover band, I mean, and I could probably ask you the same thing. you know, as being in a cover band, you want to make people happy. You want to make the venues happy. You want to make the people happy.
That's why I take it so personal if it's
Yeah,
slow, because I'm like,
yeah.
you know, the bar's hurting, the waitresses are hurting, we're hurting because we feel bad.
Yes.
You know, it almost can be a mark. Most bar owners are good enough to know, like, okay, these guys normally do well. It is what it is.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're gonna feel bad and everything, but at the same time, you still don't go and I still wouldn't go and put it all on yourself.
No, that's my biggest problem. Emotionally, I'm like, no one wants to see me.
For sure,
Everyone thinks
right.
I suck.
For sure. And yeah, you don't want to, you know, like you kind of take it a little personally, but you don't want to take it 100% personally because of that, you know. But you know, if any bar owners are listening to this podcast, you know, it's a good thing for them to understand, you know, where we come from, because I think there's a barrier there. I think that between bands and venues and bar owners, I don't think they discuss those feelings of how, you know, like they don't quite understand. There's, you know, and it's always because no one says it, you know, no one actually brings it up to a bar owner because you're kind of treating it like a job,
Sure.
you know, in a way. So you're kind of like, you know, you don't want to offend them, you don't want to hurt their feelings or make them, you know, piss them off.
Fire you.
No, yeah, exactly. Because you know, all of us musicians, you know, we love to play.
Right.
You know, it's not always about the money, but it would be nice if we got paid generously for our services, because, you know,
for the most part, I just want to make what we agreed on, and luckily, to this day, I've never had a situation where I've been shorted. And that's a good thing. You know, that's one place I get bars. If a bar isn't happy, you know, a bar owner, I get it. He's there to make money, or she. They're there to make money. They're there to do their thing. And if they are upset because they feel like, hey, you know, it's just not working out here, I get it. You know, it is what it is. But that stuff has some bite, doesn't it?
It's got a kick.
But for the most part, you know, like we said in the first podcast, I think most bar owners are fair. Most get it. And we're going to, you know,
Yes,
we're going to be getting some bar owners in here too. So if any of you think that, you know, oh, well, you don't know our side. Oh, we want to know your
That's a
side.
good idea.
So
Absolutely.
we're going to get you in here because I think they can shed some light on it. But I get it. You know, I talk to the bar owners a lot. I try to, and I'm not even the one. Sean's the one who takes care of that stuff. But I always try to make sure to talk to them, shake their hands, say hi, and even, you know, we'll talk shop a little bit. I'm always interested on their end. Just from, I think it's just the way I am. My day job. I'm a businessman, you know. So I think of things like that. But it's definitely there is definitely an interesting dynamic, and I think that's part of the purpose of this podcast. Is I do think there's a little bit of an area where we don't see eye to eye. And it's not, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean,
right. I mean,
bands see things one way, bar owners, it's two different perspectives. And that's where this is going to be a place where hopefully we can all come together on that.
I guess in a mutual respect, you can kind of think that, you know, most bar owners are they're business people. So, you know, they the less they can pay you to play in their venue, the more money that they make, or the less money they have to shell out. And
sure.
I understand they're going to, you know, everybody's going to try and, you know, work that angle. That's okay. You know, it's not offensive, but
no, I think that falls on a band though. You gotta know your worth, and you just gotta say, look, this is our price.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And just to clarify, there are some bands out there that I hate to say it, but suck ass, and they're willing to go in and play for minimum dollars. Peanuts. You know, so it kind of gives the venues the impression that, well, hey, you want $1,000 a night. Well, guess what? I can pay these fucking guys over here to play for $300-400.
Right.
And it kind of hurts the rest of the scene because
I think exactly that. I think that is starting to change now.
It is
in a weird way, because it was like when we're going on like local Detroit music history class here, but when the smoking ban hit, boom,
Yeah.
everything dropped out. It went from packed ass bars to fucking shit for
hurt.
a while.
Yes, it hurt.
And so, I mean,
for a
we're
long
talking,
time.
it's wild that was 10 years ago. But
Was it
now,
10 years ago?
2009.
Wow.
And it slowly built back up. But what happened is, I do think that, and this is my personal opinion, I'm not saying it's gospel, but I think that bars did start to compensate and get these bands that, I'm not saying that they're bad. I think that you have bands that take it seriously, and you have bands that are hobbyists. Some of those hobbyist bands are good because they used to play full time, but some of them are people that just started taking lessons in their later life and maybe don't have their shit together, but the bars were going whatever because they have a lot of friends. So here's what happens. You got Joe the plumber. He's got a band. He's never played in a band, but he put a band together. They're not that good, but they got a lot of friends. So their first few shows, we're doing it for the love. We'll take $300 for a 17-piece band.
Yeah.
And they play and all their friends come and the bars are packed and the bar owner's going, well, yeah, they don't sound very good, but the place is packed. The money's there. But then what starts to happen is this, and it's silent, and it's a silent killer. The regulars that
Like
you
your
have,
farts?
yes, like my farts. Oh man, before you got here, brother.
Sorry, I had to say it.
But what happens is you've got Pam and John in the corner that have been coming to your bar every weekend for 10 years. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So they stop coming. The bar is still packed with their people. But their people start to realize that, hey, Paul should stick to plumbing, or Joe should stick to plumbing. So slowly their following drops off. But in the meantime, while their following has dropped off, they've killed your reputation as a bar for having quality entertainment. So your regulars stop coming. Because there's certain places where when the entertainment is quality every weekend, people go, I don't know who's playing where, so I'm just going to go to this bar because I know this bar always has good bands.
Gonna have quality.
And when you lose that, you lose those people off the street. Now you've put yourself in a situation where you are relying on the bands to draw the crowd, and if they don't, you're fucked because you lost all your regulars because you essentially shot yourself in the foot because you were voluntarily paying low quality entertainment that you knew was low quality because they were new and could draw it first.
Right. And sometimes it boils down to you get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of coincides exactly with what you're just saying right now. Is you get what you're paying for. You know, you guys want to, you want to pay a few $100 to have a band come in. You know, they're not going to do that great or whatever. Some of them might not. But you know, they're going to pay that much money and have guys come in and not do so well. I mean, and I understand the venues want to, they want asses in the seats. They want money in the till. And that's totally understandable. You know, when I book shows, when I talk to, to these venues and bar owners, I try and build relationships with them. It's not, it's not like I'm just like, hey man, fucking let me play in your bar and give me all your money. Right. You know, it's a mutual thing where I'm like, well, hey, okay, listen, this is what we want. You know, if you want to start us off a little lower, that's fine. I get it. You know, we won't take less than $500-600. But if we keep doing good for you and your venue, and you guys are making money, just take care of us. And eventually, we'd like to get up to $700-800 at least a night. And I don't think that's a lot to ask, considering that there's a lot of other bands that'll go out there and charge you $1,000-1,200 for a night of songs, and they're just as good as what we can do. So I mean, you're kind of getting the talent for a deal.
Sure,
in a way.
Sure.
I just
that's where it does come down to draw. I think when
absolutely.
when you're talent wise, sound wise as good as the band making more money, then it does come down to who's bringing the people, I think, at
Sure.
that point. But, you know,
Because, I mean, that's all the venues care about is if you're going to bring in the money and people drinking, you know. And I get it, you know. I totally understand that. They want to make money. That's what they're in there for, is the business of it.
Sure.
You know. I mean, it could be fucking Pip farting on a snare drum. and they won't care as long as you got people fucking drinking and spending their money.
I ain't farting on no snare drum.
I ain't farting on no snare drum.
I
I
will.
watched that movie the other day. It was great.
Airheads.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Now, I guess switching gears a little bit. I mean, you're. That's the good thing. I think some people will take the gig wherever. I think it's up to you. It's up to you as a bar. If you're going to book a band, I think you need to do your research. You wouldn't buy a car without driving it. So if you're going to make that investment with a band, you got to do some research. Even in today's social media, it's pretty easy. You can get on and look at videos and things like that and look at social media interaction, which is good.
It ain't the same, though.
No, it's not the same.
No,
I think if you can sneak out for an hour and go see a set, that's the best way. That's kind of died, it seems, but I think it is the best way to really gauge what's going on. Now, on the flip side, though, I think as a band, it's your responsibility to look at bars and see, do we fit here? And that's what it sounds like.
Which places
Is this
right
a
for
fit?
you?
Is this going to work for us? Can we draw here? Can, you know, all those things, you want to set yourself up for success. So, you know, that's on us, I guess, as a bandmate.
It is. But like you said, you know, you got a guy like Joe Schmo who just came in and fucking started a band, you know, and he's like, oh, hey, we want to play somewhere, and they don't know any better, so they come in and they're like, oh yeah, $400, that's cool. We'll play your gig, you know, and that's understandable, you know, because they don't know any better, is the thing. But like guys like us who have been playing in the scene for so long, you know, and kind of understand what it takes to like put on a good show, you know. And we always try to do well with like, and it's not just showing up, setting your shit up, and playing. You're talking about, you know, learning the parts correctly and singing harmonies, and you know, you want to do really well in that aspect, you know, to really bring the music out
to bring
to
that
life,
song
you know,
out, that music out,
make it authentic.
Oh
you know?
And you want to create the presentation too.
Absolutely.
So
the production of your show and everything.
Absolutely,
Takes a lot of time.
Everything, and you know, I mean, we've all set up stages with fucking lights and, you know, camera action,
backdrops,
you know, backdrops,
all kinds of shit.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot that goes into it that a lot of guys, a lot of, you know, people in venues might not understand, you know, that we really do, you know. I mean, I end up taking, you know, and I'm sure you guys too, take time away from your kids
all
to
the
go
time.
And fucking set up a whole show. It's like
you just got a call from your kid here. You know, you're out here promoting
exactly
and
hey,
working,
honey,
and you got a call from your kid.
When you gonna be done with that podcast so you can go buy us fucking milk? You know?
Right, exactly.
You know, so
I feel it. I guess here's something I guess kind of coincides with putting strain and working hard. And I think maybe in this situation, and I don't mean this as any sort of a knock, it's just the way your band lineup kind of lined out. Most of us are blessed enough to have multiple people that sing lead, and you are singing all the songs in your band, correct?
I am, yes.
And that's fine. Everyone has their job, but well, it's hard because, you know, I think something people don't realize is 3 sets of music a night. You're playing between 36 and 42 songs a night.
Correct.
Every night. So then put that, you know, you think like a guy, like if you look at like, go on Setlist FM and look up your favorite artist and look at their concert that they played in the summer that you went to.
Yeah.
They maybe played 15 to 20 songs. You know, there was that really long guitar solo that everyone took a piss during and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They're not doing 42 songs in a night. You start to wonder if it's even healthy.
Yeah.
For the voice, but I mean, you do it and you do it well. Your voice is still strong. It doesn't sound to me like you've taken a hit. And so I guess just what do you do? Is there a strategy to getting through a night? What if you've got 2 nights in a row?
Well, you know, we normally don't do 2 nights in a row. Just, I mean, not because of that, but we normally don't do 2 nights in a row just
because it's not around anymore, really.
Yeah. The Friday and Saturday
Right.
night thing is kind of void. Friday nights are never as as they used to be as a Friday night or as a Saturday night. Well, yeah. I mean, you always knew that in the past that Friday nights were never as good as a Saturday. But they were still good enough to where the venues would be willing to pay you to come in for Friday night and play Saturday night.
Right. So it turned into them rather, well, instead of having the same band Friday and Saturday and getting split people of their people.
Sure.
And I understand why they do this now.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely changed.
They'd rather hire one band, get all their people on a Friday.
Exactly.
Hire a different band Saturday, get all their people.
Right.
So I mean,
I'll be honest, I'm not crying about not playing Friday and Saturday because that's a tough thing to do. Like you said, you're singing 36 to 42 songs in a night, man, and that's even when I was 25, dude, that's hard to do.
Sure.
I'm 40 now,
you had support in that a little bit though. You had guys who could take a few songs off of you.
That was the thing with like playing in bands like Room 13 and Dividing Line.
Yeah.
We had you, Ricky, who sang backups. You always sang backups. So you got guys in the band
I did
that
a few lead songs.
that could do some lead songs.
Me too.
And that's very important, man. And then so right now. I love the guys that I'm in the band with, and they're all great guys.
They're great.
They all play very well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the chemistry that you were talking about earlier too, like you guys have that.
We do.
You can
We do.
see it. I mean, it's so I
but it took a while to get there because we've gone through a few guitarists and a few different people that just kind of came in, tried out, and it just didn't work. We didn't have that chemistry, and nothing against them, but it just wasn't meant to be. But it's very, very difficult when you're trying to sing all those songs and you don't have anyone that can kind of give you a break from time to time. I rely on certain songs like Closer from 9 Inch Nails that I sing a verse, I sing a chorus, I sing a verse, I sing a chorus, and then after that, it's like 4 minutes of just instrumental.
Yeah.
So as soon as I'm done singing, I'm like, I'm out. I walk off stage, I go take a piss, I go grab a fucking beer, and that's my break. It's not like, so it's a break, but it's not the break that I was kind of hoping for. It'd be nice to have guys that could,
I know, and it's kind of hard, makes it hard too, because when you do finally get your whole half an hour break, you're out there fucking talking.
Exactly.
And
As
it's
a
like
singer.
over music that's pumping.
Yes.
So you're like,
hey,
guys, hey, I'm fun.
hey, man, having a good time, right? You're trying not to fucking, you just sang your ass off for a whole set, and then you got to go out there and try and be social. And you keep trying, you're trying not to talk too loud, but you have to because, like you said, the music's going.
And then you're going back up on third set at the end of the night going, I can't hear.
That's when I hit the doubler on my pedal all the time. It's because it kind of amplifies me a little bit in my monitor, and it just gives me a little more, so I don't have to I don't have to worry about hearing myself.
Right. So now and maybe you haven't experienced this, I'm sure you have, but sometimes you get lucky because gigs are just on the weekends and they're not every weekend. But you, when you're sick, what do you do?
Well, I mean, really what happens is when I'm sick, I really try and focus on trying to heal myself before the gig. So if I know I got a show coming up, okay, it's really, really imperative to as a vocalist to try and get to bed at a decent hour, try and get as much rest as you can. Usually the day of, I sleep a lot, and and that kind of sucks, for the family because they want to spend time with me. But I really think that you need to get as much rest as you can. I drink a lot of tea. I'll usually eat some ginger root. Ginger root is huge. Ginger root is really good for the vocals. It's really good for inflammation of the vocal cords.
Lemon.
Lemon, yes, lemon. Lemon is good. It will definitely eat away the shit on your vocal cords, but at the same time, it also lemon can also dry you out as well. It's the citrus in it that can suck some of the juices out of you.
It's a Bernie type thing. Citrus is acidic. And it's not as good for the vocal cords as people think.
No. When it comes to, vocalizing, from what I was taught in the lessons and everything that I've learned over the years is that, you should try and stay away from caffeine, pop. Tea has caffeine, but you can buy tea that doesn't have caffeine in it. But, the antioxidants that are in it, and everything that all helps you. Drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of fucking water.
That's it.
That's huge, right
there.
Drink
water till you're pissing freaking
clear. And it's very huge. So I mean, so a night of a show, if I know I'm sick, I'll do all those things. I'll chew on ginger root. I'll go to the store and buy it and slice it up, and I'll even chew on it. I learned that actually from the lead singer of Rockstar.
Ken.
Ken, yes. Ken actually gave me a little insight on that. He chews. He'll take slivers of it and just chew on it before show. That'll kind of it helps with the inflammation. Also, just kind of. It doesn't taste the greatest, but
no, it doesn't.
It does. No.
I do not like the taste.
I will trust anything Ken says.
Yeah.
Ken's an asshole because he can sing rings around
Ken,
me.
I hope you're listening.
No, listen. He can sing rings around me, and he's ripped, and he could kick my ass.
Ripped, well, I think that's one of the standards for those guys in that band is to make sure that they're in shape.
Well, you know what they do? They do a great job of being in shape. You got to fit into spandex, man.
I understand it.
In all honesty, I'm totally joking around. Ken, I say he's an asshole because he sings better than me, way better than me.
Sings better than me.
He's ripped.
He's ripped.
I can't kick his ass.
No. Not many people can.
No, I can do nothing better than him. He probably cuts the grass better than I do. Dick. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you know what? That's what
he's such a nice guy too. Like when you talk to him, he's the nicest person.
I went to the STP concert that was here recently with Jeff Goot.
Oh yeah.
And I was there, and it was funny. I saw a lot of fucking people from the scene, man. I ran into him. And, came up and said hello, shook his hand. And it was weird because I don't think I've ever seen him without his makeup and his wigs and all in rock star dress, So, but I recognized his face. As soon as I saw his face, I was like, hey, dude.
He came to a couple
from fucking Rockstar, man.
He came to a couple Room 13 shows with the guns out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I would love to get him on here. He's because with them, they were a bar band.
Yes.
And he joined, and he took it over and kind of turned it into. They were a great bar band too. I saw them before Ken was ever in it, and they were really good. But Ken kind of had a bigger vision and took it on to something much bigger.
Absolutely.
And it's impressive what he's done.
With the Rockstar 80s thing, man, they've got a great gimmick going on. And I see all the other guys in the band. You got Steve Lane, you got Jamie Trevano.
G on drums.
Trevino? Is it Trevino?
I don't know how to pronounce Jamie's last name. All I know is he plays guitar better than me. Fuck all those guys.
Right.
They all kick my ass at everything.
They're all. But those guys, man, they got that gimmick, you know, and I've noticed over the last couple of years that you know, tribute bands and things like that, those guys are making some fucking money, man. Those guys are going into places and they're playing in places that you know, a lot of fucking local, you know, just you know, rock bands like us aren't reaching, you know.
No, it's a thing right now. Well, you know what it is
with
the
well,
tribute band.
Getting to travel a little bit, and it's great.
Yeah, they are. I
Kudos
talked to Steve, and Steve is so humble. Like he won't even disclose the information unless I ask.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
yeah.
Big, so here you guys are doing this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, yeah." And then he'll tell me. But I mean, like it's impressive, and I think, of course, I'm not speaking of Rockstar in general because I think Rockstar, you know, they've got the best of all the worlds. They've got the top-notch musicians.
Absolutely.
They've got the showmanship.
Yeah.
They got the
get up.
I just saw
That's
pictures.
what I mean by gimmick is like
Right.
You know,
I just saw pictures of Ken dressed as Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
from
me
over
too.
the weekend.
That shit was awesome looking, dude.
I know, and so you know that we're giving you.
So no,
giving you guys free publicity, but no, not that they need it,
right? But if you're looking to be a band that wants to make money and really kind of move around a lot, you know, I'm seeing that is kind of the genre you might want to get into, or you know, or the
tribute thing.
Yeah. I'm not saying that bands like us, or you know, just straight up rock bands or classic rock or whatever can't make money doing that. But if that's your thing and that's what you're into, is trying to make some dough at it, then you know, like right there, you got a good way to do that, you know.
Well, here's the thing about a tribute is, and I mean, I think it's hard to do like a specific tribute, like a band tribute.
It is.
Whereas if you're doing like a certain demographic, like we're an 80s band, we're a 90s band, we're a 70s band, you are now telling people. Whereas with a cover band like us, it's cool,
sure,
but and people like it. But it's like when people ask, so what do you guys play? You're like. The answer is always like
everything.
Well, a little bit of everything.
Exactly.
We got some songs.
You can't give a straight answer.
Whereas, like, if you ask a band like Rockstar, you say, "What do you guys play?" They say 80s fucking hair metal.
And you know what?
And we do it better than anybody.
And you know what?
And
it's simplified that way, man.
It's marketing 101.
Exactly.
You have an identity there.
Yes.
And again, if they sucked, it doesn't matter how you market it, but they don't. They're awesome. So anyway, enough writing their wieners.
Rockstar, we love you. We're sorry.
Yeah.
We're just ragging on you a little bit. You know?
No.
We're
seriously.
jealous.
Yeah, exactly. 100% jealous. Those guys.
Jealous.
Those guys are awesome.
That fucker's got to go fly to Cancun last fucking, you know, a couple months ago, you know, whatever.
I played by water too.
Once
it was a pond. It was a pond.
There was algae in it.
Yes, there was actually in some paddle boats.
Yeah, it was paddle boats.
No, but
some guy caught a pike.
Exactly. That's where I've gone. But moving on.
Yes, I'm sorry. So on point.
No, so I've got two more questions, and then we got to get to our theme of the or not our theme, but our special segment. Two quick questions that can take quick answers.
I will
and I'd
try and answer them quickly.
I'd like to get everybody in the room. Out of all the songs you've ever sang in your life, the number one song that you fucking can't stand and never would ever want to sing it again.
God. Oh, wow.
I think I know what it is, but
I think I got two of them.
Okay.
Actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. So the first one is Hard to Handle.
Oh.
That's
interesting.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, no, and not that I wouldn't, like, that's not one of the songs that I would say I would never sing again. It's just one of those tunes that seems like such a standard.
It is. It's your dad's band.
All
you know, like not
yeah.
saying your dad in particular because your dad was a
No, it's
musician.
my dad's
but
band.
I've played it. I've played it too, though.
Although there are a lot of songs that I would kind of hang up on that same pedestal, you know. But I would have to say that the worst song that I would want to sing, and you know this one, yeah. Crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I was gonna say the same
did
thing.
you guys have a bet going or something?
No, Ricky was going to say the same thing. So
I was
that
gonna
was
say the same
yours.
thing.
No,
Yeah, I would say the
it's
same
crazy bitch. And you know what? I actually enjoyed singing the song for a while. You know,
Well, no, it got overplayed.
It put
got
ass on the
overplayed.
floor, man. But
Yes.
And then next thing you know, every single night or
Yeah,
every time you played, everybody wanted it.
It turned into a woohoo girl kind of fucking thing.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, crazy bitch, woohoo! You know, it's like fucking. I hate this fucking song.
Yeah, you got tired of it.
It got played out,
Yeah.
and
And it became one of those songs where, like, if you finished the night without it, people were pissed.
yeah.
You had to fucking play it.
I actually had a few people come up to me recently and say, hey, you know, we got a request. And I was like, oh, yeah, what's that? And they were like, crazy bitch. And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, sorry. Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because I always use my wife as an excuse to not play that song. I'm like, my wife
Cinnamon will murder you.
I'm like, my wife
Wasn't
will
that
kill
like
me.
10 years ago?
It was.
That song,
yeah.
I think, is 07 or 08.
Yeah.
So, Ricky, that's yours, too? You don't have
Yeah,
another
that-
one?
You hate that one, too?
Oh God.
Oh, good. Okay, so we're on the same page.
If I could pick, and I have a tie between two, 3 a.m. and Slide. Fuck those songs.
You don't like 3 a.m.?
No, listen, I love Matchbox 20 and the Goo Goo Dolls, but
Yeah,
3 a.m.
yeah.
and Slide, Ricky and I, and we talked about this in our first podcast,
Yeah.
we played those songs.
Slide's a good tune.
They both are good tunes, but we played
We've
those
been- it's been
songs
so-
at our first gig in 2000.
Yeah, see.
January 16th, 2000 at the Perch Point Conservation Club. We were playing 3M and Slide, and guess what? To this fucking
20
day,
years ago.
19 years later, I am playing 3AM and Slide.
Are
Not
you
all
really?
the time.
Are you still playing it?
We try not to, but people request
But
them. Our
you-
friend Rita,
yeah.
who I don't know if
So
Rita
it's in-
listens,
it's in
and I
the
love.
list.
Right,
in the list.
and I love Rita. Rita requests it, but the only time we play it is when Rita requests it.
Really?
And if we play 3 a.m., we play Slide because they go together like
go
bread
together.
and butter.
Yes. Yeah, and
They're in
I
the
can-
same
I can
key.
see that, yes.
So those would be the two. So now, after that, and I did skip some questions. Bobby, we're going to have you back so we can do
I would
more.
love to come back.
Because this has been great. We've been laughing our asses off. We hope you people who are listening to this are laughing your asses off because this is out of the 3 episodes the most fun I've had doing this.
I want to say that this whole entire podcast, this whole thing is just really awesome. I'm so glad that you guys fucking got together to do this shit. Dude, seriously, you guys need to keep on doing this shit. I'm gonna try and help you out by fucking, supporting and sharing, and we'll see if we can, get this shit going real hard. But it's just
Real hard.
real hard, like my dick. But
Big hard dick.
Right now?
I'm a little hard right now.
You said about 5/8.
No, but listen, everybody who's listening, I love the concept of this. This is great. We need this. We need this in our community. We need everybody to to hear this kind of stuff. And never mind that ringing. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I'll handle that later.
Cinnamon, 5 more minutes.
Yeah, 5 more minutes.
Come on, baby, 5 more minutes.
But this is really cool. I'm so glad. Thank you guys for having me come
thank
in
you.
and just be a special guest on your show. And it's I really hope you guys have the best, man. It's fucking awesome.
That's a strong endorsement. I keep saying that, but seriously, like Bobby's opinion, at least to me, and I know to Ricky too, but to me it matters a lot. So I appreciate that, and I'm happy that you think it's cool. And to be honest, and Bobby knows this, but we'll tell everybody else, like I had Bobby in mind when we first started the concept, but I wanted to do Bobby a little later down the line. But today we had someone drop out, and Bobby came in and filled in for that. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. I didn't know if I was going to be on the roster.
Oh, you, yeah, dude, you were. You know what the thing is with
which
me,
is fine. I wasn't taking offense to it.
There might be people that are thinking, oh, well, they're just picking their friends. Well. Yeah, no. And it's not that I'm trying to.
But you're starting off with all the people that you know. And
exactly.
The scene
I want to branch out. It's not that I don't want to get with everybody else, but I know you and I have chemistry
for sure.
As we said, chemistry seems to be the theme in this show today. It's true. We have chemistry.
Gotta have chemistry.
Shane and I had chemistry. The guy I had lined up for today. We have chemistry. We know each other.
Yeah.
We can talk. We get each other. As this thing goes on, of course we're going to branch outward. Right now, I'm trying to spread it out between bands. Obviously, you have Room 13 ties, but that's not why I had you here.
Yeah.
I had you here because I think your story is entertaining.
Well, I think it's good to know. I think it's good for people to know that when they hear this, that just because you were in one band and then you were in another band, everybody can still get along, man. Everybody can still have a good time. You're musicians. Everybody's musicians, and everybody has to have that same mutual respect and love for anybody else who does our craft. So it's like, even though I'm not in a band with you or anything like that, and we used to, but now we're not.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a band with me anymore.
We still love each other as friends, and that's great.
And
we need that,
We need each other, because here's the thing that I think people forget is, if I'm playing at the bar at the corner, and or we're all playing at the bar at the corner, and Bobby's band kicks ass, and then my band fails, and the band after me fails, and the band after me fails, guess what? They're going to stop having bands. So it's not a matter of my band needs to do the best.
Right.
We all need to do well, because if we all
Absolutely.
do well, the scene thrives.
Yes,
And I'm not
yes,
saying
yes.
that it isn't now. I think I really see growth in the scene more than I see. Like we were talking about how
I do too.
two-nighters are a thing of the past, but I'm seeing more bands starting to do them. It's starting to come back at certain places. I think as long as...
Hopefully, it's, you're talking about 10 to 15 years ago, even longer than that, when, this scene was just fucking booming, right?
Booming,
Back in the 90s and in the 2000s.
Yes.
Up until the smoking ban.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't smoke,
And
so I'm cool with it
But
being
you're
banned.
right,
the
though.
pay-
As soon as they had the smoking ban, bars got dead. It was like, wow, really? And then people started to find a way to smoke in the bar, which is where vapes came in.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, anyways,
anyway.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, made me lose my train of thought, motherfucker. That's where the two-nighters. Yes. That's where the two-nighters and the high pay, all that was all there, and then obviously everything happened that got cut. Things started slowly getting cut. Well, now hopefully, we kind of been in this recession, right?
Right.
So now hopefully we're looking now towards bringing that shit back up again.
I think we are.
Yeah.
And another reason why me and Danny are doing this podcast is for that. So we can get all together,
absolutely,
as a fucking community,
sure,
and make this better, make it better for all of us.
And that's a fucking awesome cause, man. Yeah. It really is, and that's great.
Because like you
Very
were saying,
well said.
like you were saying
Yes,
earlier,
very well said.
like you were saying earlier, we all put our heart and passion and soul into
We do.
this. So we love doing this. I wish we could all do it, obviously as a job, but we can't. But
not necessarily that we can't.
Well, right, but you know what I mean.
So,
I mean, we are living in, we're living near Detroit, Michigan, and I, the scene here is not exactly what it used to be back in the day.
Or what
and I'm
it's
talking about previously to what we're even talking
Right,
about.
right.
We're talking like
talking
back
Motown
when
type
the
shit,
well,
man.
we're talking even back when the old man,
Yeah.
Mr. Senior, was playing 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yes, yeah.
know?
And there are still places that we don't understand like that still nowadays that still exist where people still fucking play 7 nights a fucking week. And they make a ton of money.
It's not here though. That's Nashville, like we were talking with our buddy Shane.
Nashville
or Florida.
Florida. Probably.
I
Cali.
literally in Florida. I've only been to Florida once. I'm about to go there again in a couple months. But I was down there a couple years ago, down in Siesta Key. Beautiful. At the time, it was rated America's #1 beach out of the whole United States, the #1 beach there. And on that road, I saw a guy playing acoustic by himself at 11 at a bar. Then down the street, he was playing an acoustic duo at 3 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, he's playing with his band at another bar.
Yeah.
Like 3-4 gigs a day.
There's like a lot of options. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
But like 10 years ago, like around here, like, man, fucking bars were always packed.
Yes.
We were playing in places that like everybody was packed. You go to one
It was,
bar,
and
bar.
it's really crazy to think about. But it ain't just one thing that caused, I guess, a recession.
It's not. No,
it's not just the smoking ban. Now, that did do a lot, but you got to think about now too. Is man. They don't fuck around with DUIs, dude. Especially not how it used to be. So who wants to go to the bar and drink, and then have to.
But we have Lyft.
Well, now, yes, that's.
But that's something I've noticed, and maybe you've noticed too. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to say real fast because it hit my head and something I've been thinking about a lot. You don't see. Like back in the day, probably when you first joined Room 13, and even when we were in Dividing Line, you could play. You could play on the east side or what would, quote unquote, the west side is not the west side like you consider Detroit, but the west side's more like over at like John R. Madison Heights area, or you could play over at Gratiot, and those same people would follow you. Yes. Whereas now you have these little sub followings. Like when we play
go to a certain area,
when we play at Augie's. We have a certain following in that area that comes to that show. And the people who come see us at Winners do not come see us at Augie's.
Right.
Whereas before, it didn't matter. Whatever, we'll drive. But now those laws are stiffer. And I think that people, don't get... PSA, we're sponsored. We're sponsored by PSA too. Don't drink and drive. But... that's something that's interesting. That's something that has changed. Is people can't follow you as farther. If you're out of their fucking radius, they're not going. I
gotta say, there's a little bit of a difference there because, like DMC. We play. We play a couple of the local places. We don't really play much at Augie's too much. I don't know why, but we just haven't really, had much of a connection with them lately. Which is fine, but what I will say is that we've been kind of branching out and trying to go to venues that are a little bit outside of the box, like Crescent Lake Inn in Waterford. Yeah, and that was like recently just a new venue for us. And when we went out there, I realized that there were people that actually live out that way that we knew, and I had no fucking clue. So, like, we went there, and all of a sudden, like, I was expecting no one to show up.
Right.
And we went there, and all of a sudden, there's fucking 20 people that are there, like, hey, man, we live out this way. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, I didn't even know you lived out this way. Fucking James Schofield is one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually,
Jimmy Schofield has been detailed on this podcast.
That motherfucker.
A few times.
We called him on air last episode.
He has an introverted junk.
Really?
His junk is introverted.
Well, the next time that we're at the Crescent Lake Inn, we're going to be celebrating his birthday. So, so that should be March. Should be a good night. But my point is, though, is that it's weird that you can go like at certain places that you would think people wouldn't show up for your show, but all of a sudden everybody's like, man, we live out this way. You know, we're going to hang out at your
Right.
show. And then you all of a sudden show up. You know, but, you know, I guess that's kind of hit and miss at certain places. You know, it all depends.
It can be. You know what though? I feel like the people who live out kind of in the boonies a little bit, they're more willing to travel because they need to travel to be entertained.
Right. They want to get away from that monotony.
So,
but you guys have fucking a following though that once they show up, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave.
Sure, I think we do a good job of keeping people captivated. It's funny too, man, because like I mean, the following you guys had, like over the years, because I like joined in a transition period.
Yeah,
and a lot of people kind of went away. It's like, and it's weird because
people
like
will come and go.
Sure, but it's weird because like when you walk into a Room 13 show now, like you personally,
yeah.
People just know you as the Model Citizens guy. Like there's
right.
There's nobody there that
it's been so long.
Like
that people wouldn't be like,
right.
"Hey, you used to be the singer for Room 13."
Well,
or,
it shows.
You used to be the singer for Dividing Line.
I always make sure to make sure people know. Like, look, this is the guy I was looking up to, and it's weird that I'm in his shoes now, and I try to fill him as best I can. But I think it's
You're doing great, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It fucking God, you're gonna make me cry.
Tear.
But no, the point is, what I'm saying is it's not that you're any less known because you still have some of those people that follow you that used to follow Room 13, and they instead of like when you left,
You mean Melanie here?
they kept following you, Melanie here.
She's the one diehard.
No, there's a few, man, where like I'm like I get all because I've admitted on this podcast in the beginning, I'm like, man, I'll get jealous like when a band kicks ass and like because I want to get up and kick ass. So like when I go to a show and a band's kicking ass, I'm like, I want to kick ass right now and I can't, man. But
You're fucking telling me.
so I'll admit it, like where it's like I'll see people that are at Bobby's show and I'm like, they used to follow my band.
Yeah, but we'll say the same thing about your band.
Right. No, but
Which
like,
is fine. That's fine.
no, it works.
Like,
But that's the one thing. I mean, and that's a whole
no big
other
deal.
podcast. But with the band, I mean, now it's like we have reinvented and found different people through the years, you know,
recycled.
to where it's a completely different group of guys other than Sean, and it's a completely different group of people following it. But what I wanted to move to really fast, are we going to get cut off at that point? Oh, 15.
I don't understand the hand
15.
lingo. What's going on?
He's doing it right. I'm just drunk and reading it
wrong.
So what I wanted to get to at this point is
Our favorite segment.
stories of our failures.
Oh, great. Here we go.
Bobby, we'll start with you.
Of course.
Do you have a story on stage where you failed, fucked up, embarrassed yourself? He's got one. He's nodding his head. He's got that shit-eating grin. He's nodding his head.
Yes.
All right. Do you have a good story to tell?
I got a fucking bad story to tell.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, okay. So I was in Room 13, and we were doing really well at the time, but we ended up taking a gig at Bumpers.
Westland.
Bumpers in Westland.
Westland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Over on Newburgh Road. I know where that is.
Yes.
It's now like a fruit market.
Yeah, it's not even a bar anymore.
No, my route is in that area. When
Is
I
it
drive
really?
during the day, when I drive by there, I go, that used to be Bumpers.
Is that party store still next to it?
I don't know. I'd have to look. Next time I'm over there, I'll let you know. Go ahead, Bobby. Sorry.
No, it's all good. So I guess my worst experience would be we were playing at Bumpers one night, and I was I was in a previous relationship before my wife Cinnamon, and I was married to a girl named Becky, and she wasn't very happy that I had joined a band. She was kind of controlling, if you would say.
Yeah, I
And
think
she didn't like it if I was happy. Let's just say that. So in that aspect, like a few weeks prior to this, she was busting my balls trying to get me to quit the band. She didn't want me to play in the band anymore, and I said, well, you know what? This is the only thing that I have that I enjoy.
because I don't enjoy you.
Right, exactly. I don't enjoy you. So, so I was like, fuck you. I'm not quitting. I'm going to sing my fucking heart out. So anyways, we booked a gig at Bumpers, and we were hanging out, and you know how it is in Bumpers. It's always like set back, from the rest of the bar. And so I'm singing, right? And I'm doing my thing. And my ex-wife is sitting in like right in front of us. And she starts like talking shit, saying, you suck, and you don't fucking sound good, and you're a fucking asshole. And she's talking shit. And I'm like, and it's breaking my confidence, right? And I'm like, and I know as a singer, like I can naturally bring a tune, but I'm like, she was really fucking harping on me, it was really bringing me down. It was totally ruining my mood and everything like that. So next thing you know, I'm ordering Jack Daniels and I'm fucking slamming down Jacks like it's fucking going out of style, right? So it gets to a point where in the second set, I'm singing out of key. And Sean Kiefler fucking takes a fucking drumstick and whips it right at my fucking legs, right in the back of the calf.
I've been hit with a stick.
Have ya? Oh, it fucking sucks, dude.
That
you
means,
know how it
that
feels.
means something's up.
Oh, yes. When Sean Kiefler throws a fucking stick at the back of your leg, you know something's wrong. Mm-hmm. So it hit me, and it was like a fucking bee sting. And I'm like, ow, what the fuck? And I turn around, and I look at him, he's like, you're singing out of key. He's like, get the fuck off the stage. I was like, really, man? He's like, yeah. He's like, go sit down and sober up. So I was like, okay.
So you were so drunk that you were singing out of key.
Yes, I was. And
that's
I was.
called Friday to
and
me,
I was.
or Saturday.
But I got so drunk because my fucking wife was sitting in front of me, just breaking my confidence and just fucking like throwing every slur at me she could, just because of the mere fact that she hated me being in the band. She didn't want me to be happy, dude. So that
she didn't want all the girls looking at you.
There wasn't anyone there. She was the only one sitting there.
Your audience of one was fucking on you.
The closest girl in the bar was fucking 50 feet away from me.
Fucking heckling you all night.
Boo! You suck. Right. But anyway, so I got to the point where I was so fucking drunk off of Jack Daniels just so I could tune her out that I was doing very badly as a fucking singer. So Sean let me know, and I went and sat down, and I drank some coffee, I sobered up, and I ended up coming back up, and I was able to sing the last fucking, last of the third set. But they covered me that whole time, so I appreciated it. But after that was yeah, man, that was a bad night, man. I don't even know if I want to continue telling you what happened after that.
Okay.
Well, that's up to you, man. But, you know what I will say is this:
it was a bad night.
To take it further, is Bobby and is married to our friend Cinnamon, and Cinnamon she was a waitress for a while. That's how I think that's how you met her, right?
I was. Yeah.
And that's how we met her. I remember going to Augie's.
First time I played at Augie's, actually.
And I will say,
with Room 13 was the
when you met
night
her?
that I met her, yeah.
And I will say this, she is the #1 best bar waitress you will ever meet. She walks around, psychologically she gets the game.
Oh,
so she walks,
she knows how to work it.
She knows how to be, she's very charismatic. She knows how to talk to people and be cool. And she's not, again, same with you. That's where you two are similar, she's not doing it to work the game. She's doing it to it's genuine in a way. That's her personality. So it just works for the job that she chose. And she'll walk by, she'll have a tray of shots in her right hand, a couple beers in her left hand, and beers in her fucking pockets, passing out beers. Like, I mean, she does it. She's good at it. You never have to look for her. She's in your face. She doesn't do it anymore.
She doesn't, but she's always been on her game when she did. Yeah.
She was incredible, and she supports you. Like,
she does.
She helps promote.
She's my rock, bro.
I know. And you can see it. Everyone can see it. I think everyone looks at you guys and goes, "Oh, relationship goals." Like, you guys, she supports you. She supports what you do. She's there at the fucking shows, pulling people on the dance floor, and you guys walk out of there at the end of the night like you're a team, and that's cool.
We are great.
I'm done getting sentimental here. Fuck this shit. But no, so that's interesting. That fail will, when we turn the mics off, I want to hear the rest of the story. But Ricky, do you have any fails in mind?
Yeah, it involves you.
Oh,
Bobby.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Is it a Bobby fail?
I don't. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, something you did.
Does it have anything to do with a muffin?
No. That's a different fail, dude.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, that was a fucked up fail too. That was at a practice.
Yeah, that's for another podcast.
Yeah. So
I know that one.
You too. Okay.
So
anyway,
so we're at.
I can't wait to hear this.
We're at Augie's. You might remember this.
I probably will.
This is dividing line.
And I'm just gonna apologize ahead of time.
No,
for my fail.
No. We're at Augie's. I'm on doing my thing. We're doing whatever, and we're playing. And this was the time where you looked at me, and we're like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna rock out and try to jump off the corner of my stage."
Oh.
And here comes Bobby Nelson. How tall are you?
6 foot.
Yeah. Big motherfucker.
How tall are you?
Charging at me.
Like, how tall are you?
Are you talking about the stage or the drum stage?
My drum stage.
Oh, yeah.
Jumps off the corner of my drum stage.
Which is a 5-gallon bucket high.
Yeah. Yep. And goes.
Oh! I don't remember that.
Just fucking boom. Just.
Did I crush your fucking shit?
The corner of the stage.
My fat ass.
And
totally crushed.
He's like,
fucking Ricky's shit.
Oh, man. Sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro. I broke your drum stage.
Did I really? I don't remember that.
Really?
I am so sorry.
No, it's all good. It was plywood.
So
man.
wait, did I break the plywood or break the bucket?
No, the corner of the plywood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. If I broke the bucket, then I would be very, very disappointed.
Oh, my shit would probably fell over.
In my fatness. I'd have been like, oh my God, I grew that much? Like, to break the
I'm just surprised,
a 5-gallon Lowe's bucket?
I'm just surprised you didn't fall on your ass after it happened.
Well, I am sorry.
No. It was funny.
As long as you didn't fall off your riser.
Nope.
Okay, good.
We were good.
So, I have two.
Wait.
I have two fails. Seriously, there are two of them. Oh, popping the beers.
Oh.
It sounded good.
So, yeah, that was a nice pop, my friend. Bobby can throw down with the best of them.
Let me slam it real quick.
So you said you have two.
Good.
I have two. So number one, and it's kind of, and I'm hoping I'm not stealing the old man's thunder. We're building Ricky Miles Sr. up. He's kind of a legend on this show.
He is.
And we haven't had him in. We're going to have him in. And I hope that he doesn't plan to tell this story as a fail because it coincides with my fail. So there was a bar he played at that turned into what is now the Lumberyard, which is actually where I played last night. And he was telling me, he told you and I the story a while ago, but then one day he came up to see me at the Lumberyard and he told me, he was like, it happened here. Ricky Sr. would always sing Leave Your Hat On. and he would always go out in the crowd. He would dance on the bar. He claims 25 years, never spilled a drink, dancing on the bar, and I believe him because your dad has grace. He's a smooth motherfucker, and he's out there dancing, doing his thing, and he was like, yeah, and he's like, then I stepped off the bar onto a bar stool to step down. He's like, and the bar stools turn. So he stepped. The bar stool turned.
Shit.
He's like, and I fell. Face first.
Oh, really? Oh.
He's like, but I managed to like tuck and roll. He's like, so I did like a somersault and then landed, and I just jumped up on my feet like I meant to do that.
Like, you're okay. Like, I'm okay.
He's like, and then he's like, so I just got up and held my hands up like, yeah, I meant to do that.
Yeah,
and then he's like, then the stage at the time, now the lumberyard stage is much taller, but the time was only like a foot off the ground. He's like, so I did that tuck and roll. I jump up, I hold my hands up in the air. He's like, then I went over to the stage and it's a foot off the ground and I fell. So I ended up going in. It was the same place. He's there. He's watching me play, and he told me, he was like, yeah, I had an incident where I fell here, and he told me the story, and I was like, yeah, you told me that story before, and I'm like, that's happened here, and I'm like, that's funny. So anyway, there's a part of a song where I will go out in the crowd. I don't go out in the crowd often because I try to make it mean something, so when I'm gonna do it, I want it to be at a part where it means something. So I go out, I do it. I got my middle finger up in the air, singing, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Right in the crowd. Everyone's got their finger up in the air. The old man's flipping me off. I jump off the chair that I'm on. Sean's got his subwoofers in front of the stage. So I jump up on the subwoofers, go to jump in on the actual stage, trip over the monitor, fall down.
Oh, on your face, huh?
And I look, and he just told me the story, so I look up at him, and he kind of gives me the finger wag.
I told you.
It happened to me, too.
I've told you.
And then the second time, or the second story, not the second time, this actually chronologically happened earlier. I was at DB Cooper's because that's where everything happens.
Yeah.
It was when I first joined Room 13. It's me and Gillahan. I'm playing guitar. Like when I first joined the band, me and Brandon and Guido all traded off vocals.
Okay.
So Brandon goes to one side out in the crowd and jumps up on a chair to the right side. If you're looking out at the crowd, he goes to the right and he's singing. So I'm a little buzzed up. So I'm playing my guitar. I go to the left side and jump on a chair exactly fucking straight line from him on the other side. And I'm playing, and the chair is like the butt of the chair, or the back of the chair is facing the table. So I'm standing on it, and then the chair tips forward.
Oh, no.
Dude, my fucking legs shoot up in the air.
Oh, no.
So I'm coming down. I'm going to come right down on my back. Like a professional wrestler, I'm going to come down right on my back. And as I'm coming down, the chair is leaning. It's about to fall over. So the back of the chair, as my legs are in the air, hits me in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And makes me go straight, and I land on my feet.
Oh, really?
And Brandon's still on his chair, and he looks at me, and he gives me a thumbs up. He's like, yeah!
What a fuck up.
That was almost a fail, but I think it kind of looked cool. Kind of reminiscent of your dad's story, except I didn't
very
trip when
cool.
I got back on the stage, because the stage was ground level, luckily. So,
Oh, shit.
those are my two fails. One was an almost fail. I kind of think the second one was kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, that's
That's crazy.
But anyway, what I want to do is I want to say thank you to Bobby Nelson from Detroit Model
Yes, thank you.
Citizens for
Thank you
being
guys for
here,
having
for
me.
filling in. This has been fun. I've been laughing so hard my fucking face hurts. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to Ricky for running the controls and
Absolutely,
throwing in
man.
his
Thanks,
input.
Ricky.
And Bobby, Model Citizens, this is going to drop
Danny.
in the beginning of March, man. What dates do you guys got? Do you know?
We're playing at Crescent Lake Inn on March 9th, and then we've got the following weekend after that, we're at Sabby's in St. Clair Shores. And then after that, I think we got St. Patty's Day on at Freddy's.
Nice.
That's gonna be
You guys getting a limo? I saw Donnie Carnes looking around for a limo.
I think Donnie's planning on getting a limo, but I don't know if I'm gonna partake in the limo-esque. But all I know is that they're gonna have live bands all day from like 11 in the morning till like 6 in the afternoon, and then we go on at 8. We'll be done by midnight, I think, and just gonna wear a green shirt and drink a lot of green beer and hopefully learn some Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. Well, my friends,
thank you guys for having me on the show.
Dude, this has been so much fun. I appreciate you being here, brother. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it this far, I want to say thank you very much, everybody. Peace out. Love it. Rock it. Own it. Peace.
Yes.
Later.